Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2019 Career Mode, episode number 70. And we're finally here, beginning of the season, ready to do our first race, the Santos Tour Down Under. Before we jump into it, though, and oh man, I've done a lot to prepare for this season. First off, here is our team. It's a quality team. Even our support riders are capable, so we don't just have pure domestiques anymore, but of course, Garfield, Mater, Garrison, Dianigi will be spending nearly all of their time in those roles. But it's good to have some quality in the team and not some guys that are way, way, way down the order that'll do nothing but protect and grab water all season. Now, for the preseason, of course, I set everyone to very high. But then, unlike previous seasons, now that we are a World Tour team, and especially as a World Tour team who is not a dominant force by any means, we're going to have to scratch and claw our way for a lot of points through the season. But of course, last season, if that's any indication, we'll get points. We'll definitely get points. But victories will not necessarily be an easy thing to come by. So, unlike in previous seasons, I've spent a lot of time doing prep that I don't normally do. For one thing, objectives. I went through the objectives. I moved objectives around based on rider style, based on getting the right support riders involved in races, giving them the right objectives. McNulty having a difficult time giving him satisfaction because, to me, he's Evenepoel's right-hand man. To him, he's a leader, deserves to be a leader. So, for UAE, he's a teammate to Evenepoel. For Giro, he's a teammate to Evenepoel. For La Vuelta, I'm going to give him that free element and see what he can do with the potential KOM. So that's there. That is a thing. Then, of course, beyond just matching objectives properly with riders, you then have to go into that planner and actually match those. Now, to me, developers, I doubt that you're watching this video, but hey, maybe. You never know. You speak French, you're probably not watching this video. But let's say this news got back to the developers. Take this, put it on your plate, have a button where you could take objectives, have it on the objective page, have a button where you could actually move riders with their objectives directly onto the planner. Have them set for those races. Help us out a little bit. Help save us a couple steps because it's so much work to go through the planner and take all those objectives and plan them accordingly. To take all of your climbers, there used to be a feature a couple years back, they haven't had it for the last couple years, where you at least had a profile of all your riders. Which is why I have a sticky note now to replace what they used to have, which was you could put tags on all your riders, and you could tag them as a climber. You could tag them as a classics rider or a time trialist, GC, sprinter, so on and so forth. That's gone. Okay, great. Thanks. While it wasn't great, it was still a useful tool. Took a good thing away from us. Anyway, creating your planner correctly and not just randomly filling things in is very time consuming. Very, very time consuming. Anyway, there's more to it than what I've already stated, just to go into how time consuming it is. It's not just the objectives. You need to break it down by objective. Okay, so let's say Paris-Nice. For Paris-Nice, if I have French riders on the team, I'm going to want to get my most popular French rider into that race. Of course, that's not a great example for us, but how about Milano Sanremo? Milano Sanremo, World Tour race, 3-star objective, somewhere between flat and punchy. Who would I want to bring to that race? Well, for that, there's a few answers, right? Match the objective. Why does it just tell me the stars? Why can't it also mention top 5 or stage win? That should be included on this screen. Since we're on that subject, developers, watch this video. Check it out. Really help you. Really help us. What the objective is, should be, or not just how important is it. What the heck do you want me to do in the race so that I know what style of rider to put in? But also, okay, so it's Italy. At least that's not hard to check. There's the flag. Just got to recognize what it is. So, Felci. Hey, Italian rider, Italian race. Match that up. You get bonus for registered riders when you match up your guys. Dianigi, right? You better believe that those guys are there at Milano Sanremo. There's Felci. There's Dianigi. All right. So there's one key element. Evenepoel, Philipsen need to be at the Belgian races. Felci, Dianigi need to be at the Italian races. McNulty, a couple other top Americans need to be at the U.S. races. So on and so forth. But then you've got to get that objective matched, right? Bring the best rider to the race. And then, of course, the other tricky part is managing the number of days that they end up in the saddle. At this point, the calendar is far from filled out, though I've definitely I'm fully filled out to, Milano Sanremo. After that, there are vacancies on the calendar, but we're fully filled out through there. My training schedule is fully filled out through Paris-Nice and Trino Adriatico. So, training schedule through here, full schedule through a week later. But there is a lot that I've already filled out further on into the season because of all those complicated things that there is no easy button. Nothing that you could just simply click this and bam, it's going to fill into your planner. And click this button and bam, it's going to fill into your planner. Oh, if they could add this setup phase, this start of the year, would not be anywhere near as time consuming as it is right now. Having to go into each race to see the profile breakdown, also a little bit annoying. If they, at least this is better than nothing, but to know what the Santos Tour Down Under is, right? Even here, it still doesn't take me into anything more than what they just gave me right there, other than a little numerical breakdown. To know something, I've got to click on a stage. At least that's there now. That wasn't there previously. You had to go end to end, forward or backward through it. But okay, I could see Unley to Campbelltown has one little climb, not a big deal. And then, of course, there is Wollonga Hill at the end of stage 6. Anybody who's seen the race knows Wollonga Hill. I mean, it's the one place where the crowds are very thick, and good luck if you want to race against Richie Porte, which here's a great example of what I think of the Santos Tour Down Under, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Or bringing Gaudry, Philipsen, Garrison, Bryan, Mather, Garfield, Gottwald. So for this race, we're going to focus half on sprints, half on the overall, and of course the overall, well, not so strong. We've got Gottwald with Mather and Garfield in support, and then, Phillips and Garrison can kind of climb a little bit. But there's not a lot of climbing to do here, so we'll see what our new man, Yuri Gottwald, can do. Of course, he's replacing Narvaez. He's got good resistance. He is good on the hills, though he's 1 point below where Narvaez was, but he can climb so much better. So we'll give him a chance today. I'm looking more for a stage win than I am for anything overall. And here's why I like my chances for this race a little bit. It's the middle of January. Here's how this race works in real life every year. You get your combination of South African, Daryl Impey, who doesn't have a home race, that seems to treat this as his home race, and has for many years. Richie Port, who it is his home race. Caleb Ewan, who for him it is his home race. The Yates brothers don't seem to take it so seriously as others, and it kind of makes sense because they have, well, let's say, bigger fish to fry. Santos Tour Down Under, somewhat prestigious race, but it's not a major race. Not a major race at all. So it does not come down as a major objective for top riders like Simon or Adam Yates. But for other guys, Port, Impey, Ewan especially, this they mark down as one of their major objectives of the year. So those three in particular show up to Australia in the middle of January every year in form. They've trained hard, they've prepared, they come to this race in form, ready to go. Most everybody else, they're just getting back into the saddle. They're a week, 2 weeks into training. Some of them a couple days into training as they show up to this race. They don't get the results. Their fitness level's much lower. But Port, he's won Wollonga Hill 6 of the last 7 years, and the year he didn't win it, this year in real life, he won the race overall while taking second up Wollonga Hill. And I mean, come on, that result, it was practically a win. Peloton was, what was it? Minute 40? Is that where they were? Minute 40 behind the breakaway at the base of Wollonga Hill. Not the first time up, the second time up, as in, you go to the top and there's the finish. And it's a hill. It's not a mountain. It is definitely a hill. It's a big hill, but it's definitely not a mountain. You take that climb, right? Port's basically won it 7 times in a row. Basically, the one time he didn't win it this year, he was a minute 40 behind. He left the peloton behind, went off on his own, cruising towards the finish. He catches the last 1, 2, 3 riders there in the break that are surviving. He caught a minute 40 on them, left them behind, went on. But by that point, his pace had slowed. He was struggling to keep the pace up. Now, he wasn't slow, but he covered a minute 40 gap to get to those guys. And of those 3 riders, 2 of them just absolutely blew up, and then one single rider, don't ask me his name off the top of my head because it's really not a big name in the sport, but one rider kept his wheel. Just one. Out of all that, a single rider was able to just hang on and stay with him, and then right at the end, right away, ever so slightly from Port. Now, of course, he had been in the break all day, so he didn't have a reason to be fresh, except when you consider one key factor. The breakaway had like 26 riders in it. And he, among many others in that group, had teammates with them. Teammate did the work. They sat on the back of the peloton of the breakaway, not working. Now, you're a little more exposed in a group of 26 than you are in a group of 120, but still, he's using similar energy to what the peloton was. And so he lost a minute 40 on the climb, but was able to save enough energy by not really working in the brake at all during the day that the minute 40 worth of catching that Port did was just enough for him to beat him by like 3 seconds. Alright, so what are we looking for? We're thinking overall and of course stages. Overall, that's going to be Gottwald. And really just Gottwald. I mean, I don't need to go for anyone else. Philipsen, he's a 67 on the hill. That's not going to be enough. He could probably have the race lead if we could do these sprints right. Now, this game doesn't take real life into account, so Ewan is not, well, maybe. I mean, this is going to be on Ewan's list of favored races. Which, by the way, that was another thing that I had to look at. Favored races when I was setting up for the season. So many different things to check and counter check. And hey, look at the airport here on the side of us. Nice. But all these additions make it look like this was a modded in race because the game itself doesn't seem to put airports into the courses. The modders do, and that could be why this is lagging a little bit. We're right in the city. Got all these extra objects that aren't normally there. Anyway, I gotta figure out who's gonna protect who here. Gottwald, Philipsen, let's protect those two. Brian's gonna be our best support guy for the sprint. So we'll protect those three, and then we gotta decide one to keep around Gaudry. Our other sprinters, will give him free reign today, and there you go. Alright, let's speed things up here. Breakaway not far away, just 6 riders in that breakaway. Less than 2 minutes is the gap. The biggest climb of the day, well, we just did it. Definitely not much climbing to do today. We have just under 100k to go, but we're nearly out of water, so I think we're going to need to grab water twice. And that's really not a big deal, but this is not exactly the best time to do it. 3.5k from the top of a Category 2 climb. That's 1k in length. Right. Okay, go ahead and go get water, Mather. Wow, the 6 riders split up for that? Really? They actually have some fatigue here in the pack, surprisingly, but they'll recover. No reason to think they won't, but the breakaway is actually splitting apart. So they didn't recover. Apparently we are chasing with some amount of momentum. Yeah, we're down to 5 riders away. Make that 4 riders away, and just 3 left in the break. But as we approach the 60k to go mark, even though we just recently got water, I'll get water one final time here. James Mather, go ahead and take care of that. And we're down to 3 riders away. There might be a bonus up here, a sprint point and a second. And if anybody could use that, it's either Gottwald or Philip. I think Gottwald's who I would want to get for it, and Philipsen's who I'd want to get points. 5k to go. Case pull goes down. You won't be able to compete here. Okay, yeah, we're about to catch this guy, which means there really is only going to be 2 away. So, do I want to take Philipsen to lead out Gottwald? No. How about we take Gaudry? So, I'm going to get Garfield. I'm going to take a break for a little bit. You're going to follow Gaudry. Gaudry, you're going to accelerate. Go 88. 2.4. Alright, there's your lead out. There's your lead out. We're going to sprint now for Gaudry because we got to get ahead of this rider. There we go. Keep the sprint going. Ooh, now you can sit up because we need Gottwald to overtake you. And he does. Nicely done. There's 1 second for Gottwald. By the way, this is how Impy gets himself into position for these races. So go ahead and sit up, sit up. Gaudry can rest. Garfield, come on back into place to protect Gottwald. And there you go. We pick up 1 second for Yuri Gottwald already on the first stage.
There we go. That's 2/3 of the race behind us.
And this is the type of race where every second can count because there's no big climbing stages. You've got one little rinky-dink hill on 4. And then, of course, the final stage, Wollonga Hill. No time trial to separate us. But the hill, Wollonga Hill, is just enough to knock out the sprinters. Philipson's not going to be strong enough. He will absolutely lose it on Wollonga Hill. So I'm not sure Gottwald's strong enough to win this thing. But every second could make a real difference, especially if he finishes in a group. Say he finishes in a group that's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th across the line. If he's got 1 second on those guys, he'll be 6th and beat his entire group. So already that 1 second could be pretty important on the final standing. 17K to go. We're just about ready to form our sprint train and give our first race of the year a chance for Philipson to start accumulating his victories once again. And this at World Tour level, and also this riding for a World Tour team. So we're not just here on a one-off, we are here to stay. Philipson -2 on the day, but his sprint and acceleration not affected. We want to follow Brian. We want to follow Gaudry. We want Gottwald to get the free ride. From there, we're looking at Garrison, who's got okay sprint and good flat. Garfield, not so much. And Mather, definitely not so much. So Garrison will be the next one to follow. It's a little bit better lead out. The other two don't matter so much. Mather's got better condition. So we'll go ahead and go Garfield first. .5 kilometers. It's still a little ways out, so Garfield, we don't need to go too hard, too fast. But you can already see a lot of pace here by AG2R at the front, Rudy Millard.
There are just 10 kilometers left.
I have to go a little bit harder than this. We're not even able to get out of ahead here of the Canadian champion. Okay, Mather's gel is kicking in, so let's go ahead. Down to 8 kilometers. Let's get Garrison ready. And now we step up, push, and Garfield's done. Okay, well, let's go 97. Let's get out in front of this. Now it's 6K to go, so we can start using up all the other gels. Gottwald included. Okay, 4K. Mather's just about done. There we go. And now we will go full 99 because it's just 4K to go. So Garrison down to 3.5K. Let's start his sprint. He's not a great sprinter, so he's just going to give us a little boost here. But now it's Gaudry. Now we're into full sprint, and Gaudry's got a real sprint. You can see just how much damage he has done as we get down to 1.6. Brian is going to kick off now because we need to get around this corner and out of this corner. Brian does give us a good lead there. 1K to go, except Uh, it's a little tricky here. A little bit tricky on how much energy Philipsen has left. But we do need to go full sprint. Oh, Philipsen blocked. Philipsen is blocked. He is not going to win this thing, but can he get into the top? He's blocked again. He'll still crack the top 3, though. Oh, Ito. Ooh, Ito takes the stage. Colbrelli second. Philipsen third. DeMar, Case Bowl, Ackerman. Gottwald gets 7th. There's Godry in 9th. Gaviria is 10th. Yes, Ewan's not even here, or at least not in the top 20. That's a surprise. I don't see any MTS actually in the top 20 at all. So have they taken on Mitchelton Scott? Have they taken on a new sponsor for this year? Certainly could be a thing. But a surprise win for the Japanese rider. We'll have to take a look at his profile here. Looks like we did lose somebody. There they are.
And here are the key moments of the race.
So I got blocked not once but twice, but I wasn't in the ideal position. The other guys came up hard and fast, and that's the thing about going A in the World Tour and B with not everyone in the most ideal condition, but also our lead-out guy, Brian. Godry was so quick that he hurt Brian and Philipsen, but especially Brian. So Brian barely gave us, 200 meters before he was done, and then Philipsen had a full K to go. So we were caught behind our own man, and by the time we tried to switch off the wheel, it was too late. All right, so Kunio, Ito, similar numbers to us. So, very beatable, but good, strong 22-year-old sprinter for UAE. He will get some results. Usual suspects, team-wise. Jumbo Visma. Sky, Thomas, top finisher. Casper Asgreen for Sky. And by the way, they're back to Sky, not Ineos. There's EF still around. Their highest finisher was 29th with Langveld. There's Astana. Liquigas back in the peloton. Wow, haven't seen them in a while. Emirates. So another new sponsor, Katusha Alpecin. Let's look specifically at teams here. Bora Hansgrohe still here. So yeah, Emirates, and they have moved. That looks like, isn't that Saudi Arabia? Or is that the Emirates flag? That's not, right? Isn't that a Saudi Arabian flag? Oh, I could be wrong here. No, there it is, UAE Team Emirates. So we have UAE Team Emirates and Emirates. Okay, so they have 2 teams in the UAE now. Crazy. Mitchelton Scott is here. Okay, they are still around. They have not vacated. Sudal here. Yeah, Liquigas. And Movistar way at the back. Wow. And these are your 18 World Tour teams. So we've got Liquigas in the peloton. Of course, myself in the peloton. No CCC. No Trek. Segafredo. Those guys are missing. I think there's one more. Yeah, there's got to be one more that's missing as well. Dimension Data. Who was already gone last season, right? Okay, well, there's one stage in the books. Not a victory for Philipsen to open the race season. He came pretty close there to emerging out of that we'll have a real chance here on stage 2 to grab this one. And at this point, there is no point in cutting away and joining late. Again, you've heard me say this before, but anytime that I can save and just go for a complete episode and save the editing and rendering time involved, it's helpful, it's useful. So we'll go ahead and turn this episode into just that complete product. We'll get one more stage here. Philipsen is in a good place. I mean, he did gain 4 seconds by finishing third. Still only fourth. Somebody from the breakaway picked up good time. Gottwald is seventh, even with his 1 second time bonus. Race day condition, Gottwald the only one on anything sort of positive. And what is it? Well, they're not showing right now, and it looks like we might. No, they're just on vegetation. Should still be loading. I didn't set anyone as an objective here. See, Garfield and Mather are starting prep for an objective, but nobody's on anything this early. Yeah, there it is, Sky, the black and blue, back in the field. And I've seen the liquid gas make a reemergence in another series, I think like 2017. I'm trying to think, how long has it been since liquid gas was in the peloton? It's been a while. Okay, no, you're not showing. That's just Fitness Peak. Not seeing why you have a race day condition bonus. It's not a favored race. It's not an objective. Maybe he's excited about the high position that he's in, being in the top 10 in his first ever race on the period. He didn't race last season, except for amateur. First pro race, that could be. Right, he's going to have zero reputation at this point, so for him, being in 7th place, unlike Philipsen, who is now an international star after finishing, what, 3rd, 4th in Super Prestige last year? 2nd? I think that might be why we have that bonus. And that's good. If we can keep him in the top 10, I doubt we'll be able to get another second today. Looking at where the 2 sprint points are, they're a little too early. Where certainly the breakaway will be away for all 3 of these point opportunities. Just 131k, little uphill swing. Definitely a factor. We don't want to go too early. Don't quite want to do what I did with Gaudry that last time. That full sprint still, what was he, 2k out? So we might not want to go until the last about 1.5, 1.6. Now we clearly saw though that his lead out, Garrison, can go full sprint and not hurt those 3 guys behind him. But Gaudry, Brian, Philipsen, too quick. They'll conserve a little energy, but only a little. Keeping pace with each other is a challenge. I didn't even look close. I'm so used to Gaudry being a step below Brian. I think he is still a step below Brian. Brian just is weak in certain areas, but in the sprint, he's strong enough that he's above Gaudry, even though Gaudry's a 72 and Brian's a 71 on their average ratings. I'm pretty certain Brian is still above, or at least that's what I marked down on January 1st when I did my prep. Wow, look at that. See, we're not even listed. Philipsen's not even in the top 10 list of favorites, even after taking 3rd on the first stage. and the only one coming with a head of steam at the finish. Everybody else was dropping off. He was the only one who was still coming strong, but it was just space fighting through the field that he couldn't quite get through. 100 meters further and he would have won the stage. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if 50 meters further would have been enough for him to claim the stage. So a lot of the continental races I'll be bypassing. But now, right, we did that already a year ago. Bypassed most of the continental races and then mostly just participated in the World Tour races. That was 40% of the World Tour calendar. Now I have 100% of the World Tour calendar. So there will be World Tour races that get bypassed as well on a more regular basis, just to try to keep the pace up a little bit. And not all objectives either. Some of the 1-star, half-star objectives won't be a big deal. We'll get a lot of credit for winning races that aren't objectives because we have a lot of World Tour races that don't come in as objectives this season. See, this one took a very long time to load, so this modded one has a lot of additions into it. Philipsen already out front. He is borrowing the under 25s jersey. And that makes sense. Ito is, 22? The race leader.
Attack! It's a good moment to show the team colors.
Trying to think, how old is Colbrelli now? I think in real life he is mid-20s. 26-ish. How many seasons are we into now? This is what, the third season?
There's now more than a minute between the breakaway and the pack.
There we go, everybody's set, ready to go. Speed things up. 4 riders in the break, just a minute 48. And you got Suderlin, Masponet, Docker, and Brent Bookwalter.
Rider will have to burn some energy to get back into the pack.
Oh, that's Brian with the puncture. I'll get back to you. There's Garrison dropping back to support him, but Brian, yeah, he's okay. This is why I like to be at the front. You can see technically he never lost contact with the peloton. Got about 6 wheels behind, and that was it. So recovering very quickly. They'll get back into position. A little climb here. Plenty of collisions, but it'll be at a pace that he should be able to make some progress through, and he gets back up to the front quite quickly. Alright, the 4 riders, their gap's holding at 2 minutes, but that's going to be enough for them to claim the KOM and the sprint points. Just a minute to these guys. Can we catch up to them? No. 36 seconds. Oh, maybe we will. 24 seconds. 2.4k though. It's not enough for this one, but it is enough for the next one to go for. Okay, so just one rider away. It's Suderlin, who is the KOM leader. So in the last break, we have 80k to go, but we're out of water. I'm going to try to hold on for now. So we only have to get water once and not twice.
It's happened at a very bad time.
Now, last time we did this, stage 1.
Off on his own. The team's
Ugh,
disappointed.
Langveld riding away. That's not good for us. These guys trying to form a new break is going to make it hard for us to catch. Now it's 2 riders away. We're just aiming for 1 point. Oh, and he left. Langveld left Suderland behind. Suderland has nothing to really go for anymore anyway. 68k. We need water. But I also need to deal with this breakaway. Let's send Mather back.
We're already at the
Gottwald's going to be fine. 3k. Okay, let's focus up here. We want the same thing. Godry. Godry's going to run a lead out for Gottwald, who's alone at the moment. What I'm worried about is these guys are going to be away when he comes back with water. But here is Gottwald. Okay, 1.2k. Let's go ahead and start the sprint for Godry. We've got to make sure we catch Suderland here. Ooh, we've got competition. Case Bull, Laporte. I'm going to keep... I think I need to keep Godry going to keep those guys from getting the points. I do. Gottwald doesn't have the speed. Does Godry have the speed to beat Case Bull? I'm not sure he does. It looks like Case Bull's going to come over the top. He does. Case Bull, 14 points for him now. Yes, that was what he needed. Water still coming from Mather. Gotta make sure we get him back on protecting Gottwald after he gets back up here. So unfortunate we weren't able to grab the second. That was actually the point that I was starting to get into there. Was there you go, he's back on it. We had a situation the last time where that breakaway was still away. And so when we chased it, nobody else seemed to expect that it was going to be caught. This time, it was just reeled in. So you had a couple riders right at the front going, aha, there's points available. And of course, those guys are interested in the points classification. I'm interested in grabbing a second, a la Daryl Impey. Those guys were too fast, and they were too fast for my lead out. Godry unable to keep up with them. Let's see, we're already struggling for water. Didn't we get down to a 65k before I sent Mather back to get water? 16k to go in this stage. No breakaway, but Duquesne Quickstep leading quite the pace. And again, this has got an uphill finish to it. Bit of an uphill finish to it. So 10k now. And already some fatigue. Mather, I'm going to use your gel. Garfield, I'm going to use your gel. And Garrison. Garrison 2? That's okay. We'll use those first 2. Okay. 8k. That is close enough. We need to get this organized and get to the front. So, of course, Gottwald. We're going to take the break, or the free ride. Brian, Godry, and Garrison. And then Garfield, Mather, good luck doing anything more than just getting us to the front. Is 95 enough? Duquesne Quickstep is putting out such a pace, AG2R with them, putting out such a pace that it's hard to get anything going here. There's Mather. Yes, I did need to use Garrison's gel, and in fact, it's time for everyone's. Okay, Garfield's done. We need Garrison. 5k.
The finish line is getting close. The riders just
So we're to Garrison a bit earlier than expected. Also, he's not used his gel, so Godry's going to get to a bit earlier than expected. So we do not have the early... Hey, I said go, I said go. You were still stuck behind. You didn't get the order. 2.4k. Godry, you need to accelerate. You need to accelerate. Accelerate. Good. Okay, there's Godry's done. 1.1k to go. This is better this time. Ryan, left side's free. Left side's free. Oh, wow, he ran out quick, and that really cost us a lot of time. Brian didn't even get past Gaudry. He had enough energy to at least, get to here, should have. He should be right here right now. That sucks. 800 meters. He didn't last 200 meters. He didn't even get past Gaudry. And now you've got Ackerman, Jakobsen, DeMar, and Ito again. There's Colbrelli as well. We're going to be lucky to get 5th place here. Oh, but they're too slow. They all went too early. Philipsen for the win. Ackerman 2nd. DeMar, Ito, they all went too early. Walscheid, Schachman, Colbrelli, Simon Yates, Nawson, Pajakar. Gottwald right there in 11th. Okay, it wasn't too late. Boy, Brian nearly cost us that one, though, didn't he? All right, well, there's our first win of the season, and of course, it's Jasper Philipsen. Who else would it be? The master of the victory last season goes for it again. Took us 2 tries, though. Oh, man, was that close. He was just out of red bar just before the finish. That's why I was worried about Ackerman coming back at us, but by that point, we had blown past those guys. From 6th position to the victory. I don't get to do that very often. I really don't. If you haven't figured it out by now, while we take plenty of victories in the sprint, it's rarely coming from behind. I get the lead out, I get up into a front position, we are 2nd, 3rd, or sometimes even first wheel outside of my lead out guy when we start our sprints. Coming from 50 meters back, 6th wheel. Having Philipsen really helps. Right, if we were still relying on Miguel Bryan as our sprinter, no way he does that. He finishes 5th. Even with those guys running out of energy early. Alright, well there's a stage victory. That's also going to move him up the standings a bit. He'll pick up the 10 seconds. Gottwald still in a strong position. Field, not tightly packed, but packed enough. There won't be any time gaps there. And nor should there be. That all came out in the sprint anyway. So in the general, it is Philipsen now ahead with his 1st and 3rd, the only one to repeat. Stage 1 winner Ito is in 2nd. Gottwald hanging on. He slips to 11th though. 11th place now. Gaudry also has picked up 1 second. Did Gaudry get over the top in case Bull got 2nd? That's what it looks like. Did we only have 1 rider left in front of us, or did they give it to the first 4 placings? Well, but Gottwald's only 1 second clear. I missed something there. There was only 1 rider left away. There was 2 riders. We caught one of them right there at the end, didn't we? So that was actually a race for 2nd and 3rd. I didn't even notice. Philipsen's got a 1-point lead in the points classification. That's definitely something we can ride for in this race. His first objective, Tirreno Adriatico, also coming up. And that's going to do it for this episode. Season ready, started, underway. Happy to get it going. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Be sure to hit that like button for our entry into the World Tour, opening with a victory. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.